Okay, I think we're live. I don't know. We might be live. We should be live. We're kind of live. We may be live. I might still have power. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, all right.
Hello, YouTube.
Yes, there's YouTube out there.
Yeah, I'm watching a commercial.
Hey, we got commercials. All right.
The commercials.
All right. So, welcome to Hit or Miss. I'm your host, Night Strike, for those of you that actually showed up. We got a couple topics to talk about tonight. We might even go off topic and talk about guns and stuff too. Oh my! I mean, it's crazy, right? We actually talk about guns, and we'll talk about whatever else we feel like tonight. Again, if there's any questions out there, the questions that send the super chats first get read first, and all the other questions or comments at Night Strike, and I'll read those after. So,
we still need to set up a system where they can send you money without super chatting.
Yeah, the only way is PayPal, and I posted it, but nobody wants to. So, I'm stuck between that or I guess nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying things. I may just use StreamYard and see where that that way they get their whole thing where it shows up whenever somebody donates via PayPal. It shows up say somebody donated. Woo! That might be something I might look at doing. So, other than that, we got a couple people here. One of them's away, so we're going to ignore him until he comes back. If he comes back, we don't know. He just kind of popped in here for a second. So who we got? We got everyone's favorite disagreeable Artisan Tony.
How am I disagreeable? I'm not disagreeable.
You're not disagreeable? Wait. Disagreeing with me about being disagreeable isn't disagreeing, is it not?
Yes, but okay.
See, I was right.
I spread no rumors about you. Let's just put it that way.
Everything I say is in jest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being serious whatsoever.
I know. I'm just being. We're buffering on the other side.
Yeah, I might have to turn it back on. No, it's disconnected. So, all right. I don't know what's going on. YouTube is being screwy. So.
Power in the blood.
Yeah, blood memory.
The memory's in the blood.
yeah, blood memory. We're not going to get on to that topic. That's Never Enough Ammo's job on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not taking his stick away from him.
That was crazy, man.
Man, I was there for that, and I'm like, I really don't want to talk to these guys.
I know, right? It was like crazy, man. I was like, what the heck? You guys
Okay, it's not nice. So. It's rude to talk insider talk.
No, it's not insider talk. Everybody saw that on Match Channel, and if you didn't,
everybody doesn't watch Match Channel.
TLDR, they had some. They said they weren't racist, but they talked about blood memory, and they kind of were racist.
Yeah,
blood memory.
And they believed the Earth was flat.
And the Earth was flat.
Who is this?
Just some people Matt had on at one point.
Yeah, flat Earthers.
It was about a year or two ago.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. They're crazy.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying like the world's flat, and like I said, okay, how come the water doesn't fall over and stuff? It's because they have ice all around.
There's an ice wall, and you can't go there.
Side. So we can't go up. So we can't go, fall off or anything. But everything is like on the planet on the side, and I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird. No, but
it's the biggest troll community on the internet because they can't possibly believe that. It's like a secret club. It's like a secret society of people.
Actually, I used to work with a guy, great guy, really friendly, really nice. He's a good friend, but I used to work with him, and he believed in the flat Earth theory. I mean, he didn't like watching TV, so he got all his news off of the internet, and he loved watching YouTube and listening to podcasts. So I mean, but was he a bad person? No, he was. He's a wonderful person.
You can be ignorant and not be a bad person.
You know, but again, he believed in the flat Earth theory, and I go, but what about the plane thing? And he's like, it's just an optical illusion. I go, okay.
What about the what thing?
You know, how come when you go up in a plane and you look out, you know, if the Earth is flat, it would be completely flat, but you can see the curvature when you're in a plane.
You can't see. That's the thing you learn. You can't argue with them, and so you learn not to because they're irrational. They don't use logic.
Well, he would have a rational conversation. So when I ask questions, you know, he would say, "No, that's just an optical illusion." I'm like, "Okay, that's I don't believe it, but that's a valid argument."
No, it's not.
Well, I didn't want to argue with it. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I agree on that. You wouldn't want to argue.
So I said that's a valid argument, and you know, we went on from there. But overall, those people do exist, but they're not bad people. You know, and I don't want to speak bad of them. So that's it. They're just the flat earthers are just weird. That's all I'm saying.
No, nobody said they were bad. They just don't have an understanding of science.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like some people, you know, like they believe into like alien extraterrestrials, you know, they believe in aliens, you know, like the draconians and
hey.
Wait a minute now.
I believe in aliens too.
Aliens are real.
You cannot tell me that Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein aren't lizard people. You cannot tell me otherwise. How else would they be in Congress and the Senate for that freaking long? There is no freaking way.
Yeah, okay. I can believe they're Kryptonian, you know, they're Crypt, like Tales of the Kryptonians, you know.
Crypt keepers, you mean?
Crypt keepers, there you go. That's what I meant to say. Crypt keepers. But
but you know,
I know what I'm saying, but I mean there's people
the funny thing about it is once you go down that rabbit hole, there's other things you can't believe in, right? And you can't keep up with the list of things you're not supposed to believe. It's like if you're a flat earther, you're not supposed to believe they went to the moon. So you have to believe in like 30 different conspiracy theories to be a flat earther. You can't believe in gravity. You can't believe in, extraterrestrial. You can't believe in anything really except that the Earth is centric, you know.
It's kind of like what Night Strike said. It's like Night Strike said one time when he was in school, they told him that Pluto was a planet.
Yeah.
And now they say it's a planetoid, or was it? They
changed the definition of Pluto to being a plutoid instead of a planet. And I'm like, no. Okay, I had to learn that damn pizza thing. You know, Pluto is a planet as far as I'm concerned. Anybody that says anything different can shove it up their hoo-ha.
It's just a small planet. What's wrong with it being a small planet?
That's my point.
Mm-hmm. It is small.
They want to make it something else that's not a planet, and I'm like, that's the same kind of crap that they're trying to push, you know, on everyone, and I don't agree with it. I understand science just a little bit, and I understand that Pluto is a planet because I didn't have to go through like 20 years of school just to learn that Pluto is not a planet anymore. Screw that. Reimburse me for all those years that I had to sit there and listen to some boring ass lecturer go on and on about Pluto being a planet. I want that time back if it's not a planet.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on. We got a couple topics to talk about tonight, and I know I went off on a tangent because Tony set me off. Tony totally set me off. So we're starting later.
Yeah. I actually warned you that it was 9:04, and you were like, "Yeah, I want to be fashionably late." So,
hey, there's nothing wrong with being fashionably late. We're still waiting on Nighthawk.
Yeah,
he's not coming back. He's trying to be a man of mystery.
I think he is too. I don't know if he'll come back either. So, yeah, we got a couple things. I don't know if I want to go over all of them, but we'll go over one or two of them. Which do we want to go over first? Let me see. Okay, why don't we talk about the elephant in the room, about the liar in chief? I mean the
I thought you were going to say UAPs.
What is it? The president? What do they call him? Something
Goofball.
Commander in chief.
Commander in chief.
Yeah. Well, technically, he's the liar in chief today because he lied about the Pulse terror attacks to push gun control. Imagine that, a Democrat lying to push gun control.
Old people don't lie; they just can't remember what they're supposed to say.
Okay, stop putting up walls and stop making excuses. You know,
I'm not. I'm just
apologizing for him trying to push gun control. That kind of sentiment is wrong.
Honestly, though, I mean, he's being told that he's basically being led by.
Oh, I know. I know he's a puppet. Yeah. Somebody's got their hand up his hoo-ha. Making him talk. I understand that.
Well, his mental faculties just aren't there. He can't make the argument for or against it. Yeah. He just has to speak the written lines that.
See, he's speaking about experience during the war and stuff, and I would like to know what part was he in, like the North or South? In the Civil War, Yeah, there's things called muzzle loaders were those new contraptions back then. They were scary and dangerous. I mean, you didn't fill them right, your hand could blow off.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel sorry for the guy because he could be retired right now and taking it easy, but he's having to go around, pretending to be president, and he's probably going to die in office. He won't ever get a chance to relax. You kind of got to feel sorry for him a little bit.
Maybe just a little, and then I remember he has more money and more cars and stuff than I do, and more homes. And
more cars.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Drive them, so.
Apparently he does. Scary enough.
Oh, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So this is by this is from Ammo Land. It's by Jim Grant. President Joe Biden marked the anniversary of the tragic terror attack at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, by peddling a gun control narrative and cover-up for the failures of the Obama-Biden administration to stop radical Islamic terror attacks. Yeah, by the way, that was, he's calling on gun control for that when he did nothing to prevent that from happening in the first place. He was there. The Obama-Biden administration.
Mm-hmm.
It is the latest in the Biden administration's push for the most far-reaching gun control that has ever been forced on the American public. It spans the entire spectrum from President Biden's nomination of David Chipman, a paid gun control lobbyist who testified he would twist the 1934 Firearms Act to create government watch lists and ban entire classes of commonly owned firearms, to the lingering H.R. 8, a bill that would lead to a national registry of every gun owner in America. Pretty sure if they put my name and address on a list that's public, I will sue the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
you won't be able to sue them. They will have immunity.
There's no immunity. There's no immunity in the court of litigation.
Are you talking about the federal government?
They don't have immunity to anything. Everyone's accountable for something.
If there's a law in the books, they do. That's one of the little subreddits.
Don't you talk about subreddits. We're not talking about Reddit tonight.
I mean, in the law itself, there will be a paragraph.
President Biden marked the grim anniversary by repeating his gun control mantra. It is long past time we close the loopholes that allow gun buyers to bypass background checks in this country, and the Senate should start by passing the 3 House-passed bills which would do exactly that. President Biden wrote in a statement that he was force-fed, that they held up cards for him to read, or a teleprompter for him to read.
I just want to know where you get some of these loopholes, because I've never been able to find them.
I don't know where this loophole is. The Charleston loophole is not a loophole; it's a law. Okay, and 2, there's no gun show loophole because I just watched a thing on the gun show in Columbia this last week, and they interviewed Mike Kent, the guy who owns the gun shows and hosts them here in South Carolina, and he said flat out that come down, visit the show, buy a gun, we'll do you fill out a 4473, a background check will be done on you, and then you can take your gun home.
I've been to 100 gun shows, and they all did background checks.
Exactly.
There is no loophole.
Exactly.
Gun show loophole.
There's no gun show loophole.
I bought my first strip receiver, and I had to fill out the form. Yeah.
No.
And since I had my license to carry, they didn't have to do the background, but I still had to fill out the form. And they, since my license to carry my background gets checked all the time, that's why they forego. If your state allows it, they can forego the background check, and they just go ahead. There you go.
Yeah.
You paid for it. They walk out with it.
What was missing from that statement was an acknowledgement that Americans were killed at the hand of a radical Islamic terrorist, which the guy was. Perpetuating failure, the tragedy wasn't a gun control failure. It was a failure of President Barack Obama and the then Vice President Biden for not safeguarding America from terror attacks. President Biden perpetuates the cover-up that was begun when President Obama issued a statement in the wake of the terror attack and misguiding the American public when he wrote, "This was an attack on the LGBT community." The Biden administration is attempting to distract from past failures to push an agenda that leaves Americans vulnerable, especially those in the LGBT community. This misdirection was not an oversight. CNN reported immediately after the deadliest terrorist attack since September 11th that the murderer who killed 39 pledged allegiance to ISIS. NBC reported 2 years later that a thorough examination of the evidence showed that the murderer randomly chose his terror target. Even progressive liberal publication The Vox admitted it was a terror attack, not an LGBT hate crime. Mm-hmm. That makes it a failure of the executive branch, President Obama, and then Vice President Biden to detect and halt terror attacks on the American public. It's true, but there is one other caveat of that the Islamic terrorist that they don't talk about. You want to know what that was? I found it out because I looked it up. I went looking. I found out that he was also a registered Democrat.
Of course he was. Why do you think they're concentrating on that event and not the one like that happened here in Chattanooga where they killed 16 sailors, police officers here? That guy, he was a little jihadi.
He may have been a jihadi, but he was registered as a Democrat. So what's that tell you?
No, I'm telling you, they're not concentrating on the types of people who are offensive to their base. They're.
Oh no, I understand that. I'm just saying that you really want to. No, I won't go there because that'll make me sound bad. But again, he was a registered Democrat, so
people know you're bad. You can say it.
Oh, just like how they got that Bernie supporter shot that baseball field, and he was a far left Democrat.
Oh, did you hear the FBI still won't establish a motive for that shooting?
I believe the motive is they were the wrong political party in that baseball field.
But I just read an article about that today about how the FBI won't state that there was a motive,
because they don't want to play sides.
Yeah, they don't want to play.
They don't want to play sides. They don't want to tell the truth because the truth hurts. Imagine that.
Well, they would play sides if it was a conservative that had shot them up.
Now, President Biden is doubling down by chasing failed gun control policies. Time magazine reported the murderer purchased his firearm legally after the same background checks the president parrots as a cure-all. In fact, the FBI investigated the murderer twice before his horrific crimes for possible terror ties, and then FBI Director James Comey defended the Bureau for closing the investigations and not following through. Aha! The truth comes out, Comey, doesn't it? Yeah. President Obama's first instinct was to blame guns and demanding gun control. 5 years later, President Biden has learned nothing and is repeating the same discredited lies, demanding the same gun control. Illusions, delusions of safety. Smoke screens like these make Americans less safe. They make at-risk communities even more vulnerable, calling for gun control that would disarm law-abiding citizens, and refusing to recognize radical terrorists and criminals that prey on innocent people is beyond immoral. It emboldens the attackers. Chris Chang, the History Channel's Top Shot fame, spoke to Congress about this at NSSF's National Shooting Sports Foundation's recommendation. He brought his perspective as an Asian American and a member of the LGBT community. He was recently profiled by Recoil magazine, shattering stereotypes that people in the communities he associates with are willing to be stripped of their rights and play the role of willing victim. He said, I testified in front of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee to speak against a number of the gun control measures currently facing Congress. Chang explains. The backdrop was the 149% rise of anti-Asian American attacks over the past year. There are Asian Americans flocking to gun stores in droves for personal protection. Some of the gun control measures would increase the time and difficulty for responsible citizens to acquire firearms. And he's right. Asian Americans purchased guns at a 43% higher rate in 2020 than they did in 2019. African Americans saw the highest increase of gun purchasing during that time, a 58% increase, and Latino Americans increased gun purchases by 47%. There was a similar rise in gun purchases by those in the LGBT community, according to the news. It is dangerous for the country when the President of the United States refuses to acknowledge the problem of terror and unchecked crime. It is dangerous for the people who would be left defenseless by enacting his failing anti-gun policies over facing stark realities. And, that's the end of the article, and he's right. He's right on that one.
I wonder what, is there really, I wonder how many Asian Americans actually have, I wonder what the true statistics are.
I'd say all across the board in the country, I'd say even with the uptake and purchases, we're looking at probably 30 or 40% of Asian Americans in this country have guns now.
Because I don't know any. In our area. I haven't heard of any attacks on Asian Americans.
I haven't either in my area either. But honestly, I have heard there've been attacks in Atlanta, and there's a very large Asian population in Atlanta. So. And I lived in the Kennesaw.
I just don't know who. I don't know who these people are that are hating on Asian Americans.
I don't understand that either. Why would you hate on Asian Americans? It doesn't make any sense.
The only thing I could think of, it's like because of the COVID, because it came from China and stuff.
They didn't do it,
But they have nothing to do with it,
Just like
it's the same thing.
I just hope my great aunts are okay in California right now.
Just here we go. Kingpin. There's no such thing as Asian. We're just saying they have Asian descent. They have more Asian DNA than I do. Let's put it that way.
And if you're going to say Night Strike, great aunts, yes, 2 of my great aunts are Asian American.
I thought you said great ass. I thought you were.
Aunt.
I was like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is that when 9/11 happened, a lot of people were hating on Muslims that had nothing to do with it. Muslims would be walking around and they'd be like, hey, and they'd be like yelling at them, saying profanity, get out of my country, and all that stuff that they were being hated on. Until finally people were saying, like, hey, man, these people had nothing to do with it.
I mean, a lot of that comes from, a lot of them weren't criticizing it either. So I think that's where some of that came from.
Yeah.
Right.
But
you had when you see videos of them having parties because it happened, it kind of slants your opinion a little bit. So.
But yeah.
But anyway, that's a little different, I
think. Yeah, just crazy stuff going on still, man.
Yep. All right.
I'm with Vanessa Kitty. Why are we hating on anybody?
I don't understand that either. We don't need to.
I grew up under the golden rule: treat everybody as you want to be treated. That's it. Period.
Yeah. Yep. We got another article. It's from.
How long is it?
It's not that long.
You have to take a a break between paragraphs or something. You almost went to sleep during the last one.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've got this one's from Ammo Land. It's from our good friend John Crump. If you don't know John Crump, he's got a YouTube channel. He writes news articles for Ammo Land. Great guy. He came across this. A leak shows people are being added to prohibited list without due process. Okay. And it says, can you be added to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System prohibited list without being convicted of a crime? According to leaked documents received by AmmoLand News, the answer appears to be yes. The document in question is called Guidance for Requesting a Submission of the NICS Indices Unlawful User Addicted
Indices,
excuse me. Unlawful user addicted of a controlled substances files. It lets law enforcement officials add suspects to the prohibited list even if the subject hasn't been convicted of a drug charge. Most gun owners are not aware that they can lose their gun rights without a court convicting them of a drug crime. This expanded powers brings up a concern that the ability to add a suspect to the NICS indices violates a person's right to due process, which it does, doesn't it?
I haven't heard of anybody being put on a. Is that real?
This is new. This is new information.
I mean, I would think it would take something like a red flag law, or some sort of. I mean, would there have to be some law in place?
There has to be some law in place. There is a law in place, about due process and whatnot. Unfortunately, with our government right now, do you think they're really going to follow?
No, I'm not talking about due process. Has been in the law ever since the Bill of Rights.
I know.
I'm talking about there's no law that says they can literally put you on a list, right? That says you. Are you talking about a list that would be checked when they're doing a background check?
Well, we'll get into this. The NICS indices is a list of people prohibited by the FBI from purchasing a gun. Okay, when an FFL holder runs a NICS background check on a gun buyer, the system runs the purchaser's name against the NICS indices. If the system comes back with a positive hit, the FBI system will deny the sale of the firearm. No other information is supplied to the FFL about the denial. The form lets
Okay. I think where this comes from is that on the 4473, let's say you answer the question, yes, I'm a terrorist or something. Then that answer is logged as yes. So the next time you do a background check, they know that you've answered wrong on that before. That's maybe where this list comes from.
Actually comes from the other part.
What part?
Okay, well, we'll get into it, but
I want to predict the problem first, and then
it has to do with. I think from reading on, it has to do with the what is it? The wacky tobacco.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I just picked out an example. Anything, right? If you've committed domestic abuse, that's another question, right?
Yeah, right.
So any failed answers probably get logged as failed answers.
The form lets law enforcement add someone to the NICS indices if the subject fails a drug test. The reporting officer doesn't have to file charges against the person who fails the drug test. Many positive drug tests are false. In almost all cases, the person is not notified that the law enforcement agency has added them to the NICS indices. The form also allows law enforcement to add a suspect to the NICS indices if they claim they have found a person in possession of drugs, regardless of state law. That means that a police officer finds someone in possession of a drug legal in a state. The officer can fill out the form and have the person added to the NICS indices. More and more states have legalized marijuana, but the drug remains illegal on the federal level. Another officer could find a person with marijuana and let them go because they are prohibited by state law from arresting them. the officer can still report them to the FBI and have their firearms rights revoked.
So these indices must be part of that effort to cross-reference databases that people were complaining about years ago. Remember when they were saying, these people are getting arrested for drugs or whatever, but that information is not getting into the database. It's not being cross-referenced or whatever.
It's part of that. It's part of the background check system.
So the indices must be referencing that part of that cross-referencing system or whatever they come up with.
So the most disturbing part of the form is that law enforcement can add someone to the list by claiming the person admitted to using drugs. The person doesn't have to be arrested or fail a drug test. The officer can just claim the person said they had used drugs within the last year. A person who admits to trying marijuana 11 months ago will lose their gun rights by a cop, adding them to the NICS indices. The big issue is that the law enforcement could mark someone as an unlawful user of drugs without their knowledge. Lying on a 4473 form is a felony. The person who tried marijuana once 11 months ago might consider themselves drug-free, but the FBI would say they are a drug user since they have tried the drug within the last year.
They're not talking about medical marijuana, right? You can't.
I think all forms of marijuana.
Or you wouldn't get in the database for medical marijuana. I don't.
Well,
right?
if it shows up in a drug test, you would.
If you were arrested and you went to court and you told the judge, I have a prescription for this, you wouldn't be convicted of it. So therefore, you wouldn't be on the.
If the state allowed for marijuana to have a prescription.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would. I don't think medical marijuana can, like Vanessa's saying. Yeah, what about legal drugs? Basically, I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah. That's I don't have the answer to that. That's a gray area. It's a good point, but it's a gray area because it doesn't say it in this article, and I don't have the answer either.
I think that can be really subjective.
Yeah, it can be really subjective with that.
The danger is that this indices is just a big word for data entry. So
database, really,
a database entry. So if it's just a matter of whether you're gonna get placed. You're gonna have some kind of data entry, on your record, so that you might have to fight. Yeah.
If a law enforcement officer reports them to the FBI, the same officer could arrest the person and charge them with a felony that could land them in prison. The form also lets law enforcement add a person to the NICS indices for mental health reasons. These reasons could be that law enforcement has committed someone involuntarily to a mental health facility or a court system adjudicating.
Are you still there?
Did we lose him?
Did the power go off?
I don't know.
Vanessa just reminded me, and she's correct, that medical marijuana is still a federal crime.
A couple years ago in Hawaii, when it was like people who are on medical marijuana, if they found out you own firearms, they were like, "Okay, got to turn them in." It was like, for what? This is legal. And they say, "No, we still want your firearms." Sheriff's Department was.
I keep forgetting about that. Yeah. It's so prevalent now. Medical marijuana is so prevalent that, or ubiquitous, or whatever the word is, that you forget sometimes that it's still a federal.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Defense Dad, are you on your phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on my computer.
Okay, I need you to do me a favor.
What's that?
Click the three dots on the top right of my my little black screen over here, and make me a moderator.
On your black screen? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
On mine.
You see the square? Or the rectangle, more or less. There we go. Thank you.
By the way, how's my audio? I got a new microphone.
Your audio sounds perfect.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So,
yeah.
I got a big boy microphone.
All right. So, that's just, it's awful that people are being added, without any, due process. So, But am I surprised about it? No, they'll try anything these days, won't they? So, what else? I got one more article, but we could talk about guns instead if you want to talk about guns.
Yeah.
I'm up to some gun discussion or whatnot. If anybody's bought anything or looking at stuff, because I'm looking at a few things, and I wanted to get some input before I make any purchases.
Glock.
No,
9mm versus 45. 9mm for the wind.
I've already got a 45 and already got a 9mm. I don't want to buy any more.
Whatever he's looking at is probably
what do you need guns for?
Defense, Dad. I'm not buying a gun for your daughter. I'm buying a gun for myself.
My daughter wouldn't want pink. She'd want the Tiffany blue.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You can see pink in your range bag really good.
No. Yeah. Pink makes my eyes flare.
She does have her own pink camo range bag of her own, but yeah.
Daniel says he puts a super chat out there saying, when's the purple dress debut? It's not a purple dress. It's a purple graduation law gown. That's what it is.
With nothing on underneath.
I know I'm going to wear something underneath it. Just saying, because it's exactly what the leader of the South Carolina Senate wears.
I've been drooling over the HK VP9 long slide.
Really?
Yeah, that thing's dead sexy.
Yeah, you can drool over it, but you realize that customer support is going to be like bad, really bad.
I've already got an HK.
Okay, well, as long as you're okay with shitty customer support, okay.
Long slide 45, latest sizing.
So, Tony, you looking at getting any guns?
What's that?
Getting anything new? Anything in your future?
No, I'm content. I need to get another Ruger 1022 because I gave mine to Barrett. So, yeah.
1022s, they're awesome.
Yeah,
that's my favorite rifle. They're so much fun.
Yeah,
I like it, but I hate cleaning the thing.
How much can you get them in your area?
I know. I haven't started looking yet because I'm afraid to. I'm afraid I'm going to pay like $500.
All right.
Because I want the breakdown, the takedown.
Do a takedown would be awesome to have.
Yeah, the takedown's going to cost a bit.
I need to go on Gunbroker and see.
You need to take down and then put the Magpul backpacker stock on it. That thing's cool.
What is it? Magpul.
So it makes it so when you take it down, the foreend fits into the stock of the on the second part of it. It snaps in, it keeps it all in one unit. So when you're stowing it away.
Yeah, I'm looking. The best price I can find it right now is one company online for $400. So,
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it online. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I was going to get what I wanted to do was to get the takedown model and make a wood stock for it.
Oh, there you go.
Because I've got a wood stock for a regular one. I thought, I can cut this one and make it work. It probably doesn't work that way, but I'm just going to find out.
There's the link in the GunTube side chat for you because I can't put it on the YouTube chat because they don't like you posting links like that.
I really want that stock for my
Nazis.
for my PC carbine too. So what are you thinking about getting, Night Strike?
I don't know. I'm looking at either getting one of several things, maybe getting a couple 22s, like maybe a Heritage Rough Rider, probably maybe a Ruger 1022 if I could get one at a good price, or getting a Rossi 22. Or I've thought about it. I am considering getting one of those rare breed FRT triggers. I want to get one and put one in my rifle length AR, just because. Why not?
Nice.
Very nice. Great success.
And Daniel, this is an update from the other night. Daniel said, I just ordered a Benchmade 940. Which one? Did you get the Osborne version, Daniel, or did you get the other one? So,
I'm seeing Vanessa Kitty's comment. I don't hate cleaning guns. The 1022 is a great gun, but of all my guns, it is the biggest pain in the ass to completely tear down and clean.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Rossi is actually easier.
I don't think I've ever completely. I've had one of my Ruger 1022s for probably 20 years. I've never actually taken it completely down to clean it, and it still works. So, I mean, I clean it, but I don't take it. I don't break it down into little parts.
I've had my Ruger since 1989, I believe, and 88, 89, somewhere around there, and it still had the metal trigger guard and everything before it went polymer.
Yeah,
and sometimes I had to really I had to really take it apart so I can, because sometimes I used to shoot and it would jam, and I was like, why is it jamming? I'm cleaning and stuff. And then once I took it apart, there was a part of the bolt that had a lot of fouling and stuff, a lot of crud and stuff. So I had to really clean it. And then I shot it. I was like, hey, here we go,
Yeah, it's just getting.
You just got to get some WD-40 and blow it out of there from the other end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Daniel says,
a long time ago.
At Night Strike, get the Barkeep. It's awesome, and it's the Heritage Barkeep, the short version of Rough Rider. That's the 2 or the 3-inch one, right? I'm looking at possibly getting something more like the 4-inch Rough Rider with the 22 long rifle / 22 was it Magnum cylinders. You can swap them out.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have no interest in the Barkeep. I just don't want. I nothing against it. I just personally don't want to have to carry a stick with me to get the shells out. I want something a little longer that's got the
ejector.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want the ejector on it. Yeah.
So now, the last time I took down my daughter's 1022, I ended up with the. Occasionally, when you take it, I didn't realize because I hadn't had it happen before. Is how you have to take the safety and put it in the middle,
right?
So apparently, every once in a while, that safety rotates and it becomes a dead trigger because it hops off the detent when it does that. So I tore the whole trigger group apart and rebuilt it, and it's still. And then I found a trick on YouTube where you have to take a pair of pliers. You have to turn that safety until the detent re-engages. I was so pissed when I found that out because I had taken the whole damn thing all the way apart. Because I got it all back together and then I had a dead trigger. I'm like, what the hell? So that was a new pain in the butt I learned on that. But shooting it's a dream. I love that gun.
Yeah, I was looking at getting the Rough Rider with the 4.75 inch one, the 22 LR and 22 WMR with the Coco Bolo grips.
Oh, is that lever action?
No, it's here. I'll screen share since it's not.
Rough Rider sounds like a lever action.
No, it's a.
No, it's like
a pacemaker.
Pacemaker. Peacemaker.
Yeah.
It's like the Ruger Wrangler, but cheaper.
Yeah, here, let's see if it shows up. It's that one.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of my H&R 922.
I'm looking to get something like this. Again, there's no prices on this, so this is just the product information. So, but I'm thinking about getting one of these or getting something similar.
I was seeing those on sale on Gun.Deals for like $138 with both cylinders.
Yeah, if you can link me later on, off chat, that would be great.
Honestly though, isn't that just kind of a drawer gun? What are you going to do with that? It's fun, right?
Shoot 22 with it, more or less. That's it.
I know. Get you a little.
So.
Get you a little Mark V or something.
No, I don't want a Ruger.
Next 22 I get's going to be a Buckmaster of some sort.
Because if I get a Ruger, I'm going to go off the wall and get a Ruger 57. Or Ruger 57 or whatever.
I get either another Ruger or MMP 1522. That'd be cool.
I grew up shooting Ruger, so I got a soft spot in my heart for them.
I know you do. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of almost all we shot when I was a kid.
Well, so my grandpa was and they had my grandparents did well for themselves, but my grandpa was the mind where like you don't need the best, right? And Ruger's a great gun, but like so anything he bought good quality stuff, but he didn't necessarily spend the high dollar. Even buying cars, like they could afford Cadillacs and stuff, but he's like, well, you don't need anything nicer than a Buick, so he never bought anything nicer than a Buick. It was just that was his mindset.
Well, let's see, I was made to shoot a 22 bolt action until I was probably, 12 or something. And I remember the first time I shot a Ruger 1022, I was like, man, this is like a machine gun.
Yeah. Well, speaking of my grandfather, I've still got the last car he bought.
Oh, really?
Huh. What was that?
It's a he got this instead of another Lincoln because the Lincoln he had before that was it had a fire when he was charging the battery, and burned straight through the engine.
Wow.
So he got a Mercury Grand Marquis GS. So I've still got that. It's a 1998, and I've still got that. It still runs. Only has about 50,000 miles on it.
See, my grandpa, he bought a Rambler 440, 68 Rambler station wagon used in 1970. That was his vehicle up until he couldn't drive. He always bought the new vehicles, and those were what they took on trips, or that was the car Grandma drove. But he drove that green 68 Rambler wagon for his entire life, and my oldest cousin still has that car, and it can still win car shows. That's one of the memories I have of him. I got his tools, and I got one of his guns.
Well, this was my grandmother's car, and I got it. I got it in the inheritance. So, I haven't driven it in about a year or two, so I have to go and wash it off and replace the battery and check everything. Maybe have it go get a tune-up because I'm not that great a mechanic. I mean, I can do simple things like replacing like maybe a starter, or replacing just switching out the oil and whatnot. But when it comes to like tuning an engine or taking replacing gaskets and whatnot, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not good at that.
See, I grew up doing all that stuff. Although today,
now hold on, let me put it this way. Now, if it was a lawnmower, yeah, I could do that. I could do all that, no problem. But when it comes to cars, I'm not really good about fuel injection and carburetor. I'm okay with carburetors. I'm just not good with fuel injection.
Yeah.
My first car had two 1-barrel carburetors sitting side by side. Guess what kind of car it was? It was a 62 Corvair. It had a single barrel carburetor for each side of the motor.
So you're fancy. My first car was a 64 Ford Custom, and it had a single 1-barrel. It was an inline 6-cylinder. It was a Holley 1-barrel with glass fuel bowls.
Yeah.
But see, the problem with the Corvairs is you would take them to your, like my brother would try to. They were hard to sync. The carburetors were kind of hard to sync up.
Yeah, my first car was a 1995 Nissan Pathfinder with 4x4.
What I was going to say is that for the first time in my life today, I actually paid someone to do my brakes because I needed.
Oh no! You had to pay someone to do something. Oh my!
Oh.
Well, brakes are so easy, but I got so much crap going on, and my sister was here for a visit, and I go on vacation here soon, so I didn't have time to spend a half a day doing it. Yeah. So there's a shop here locally I trust, but it just felt weird. I've never in my life, I'm 46 years old, and I've never in my life paid someone to put brakes on my car.
Yep, we got a couple comments out there. We got Daniel saying, at Night Strike, get the case hardened finish. It's way better than the black spray paint. on the other Rough Riders. I will get what I can afford, man. I may not be able to afford the case hardened, depending on how much it is. I'd like to. I understand what you're saying, but I may have to go cheap.
You can always touch up the spray painted version.
Yeah.
Get the camo paint out.
Gun Library Again says, I do like Ruger, but I am jealous. My roommate bought a $100 .22, and it's actually reliable. I've got one of those, a Savage 64. It's pretty damn reliable. My only beef with it is, it's the 10-round magazines.
22 long rifles is probably one of the best rounds that was ever. I mean, it's a large enough round that you can kill small game with it.
Yeah.
But it's not so large that the chamber pressures are, it's not that hard on a gun. So it's almost like the perfect round, really.
Absolutely. Gun Library Again says, I just swapped points to HEI this week in my 63 Fairlane. Oh my, I'm jealous.
Nice. I had a 61 Fairlane. I loved that car.
Those were the battle tanks, weren't they?
I could fit. It was the real curvy one, and I could fit 12 people and go to lunch in high school in that thing. You put the people you didn't like in the back, and then you went over the railroad tracks, and they would hit their head on the trim of the rear windshield.
Yeah, my dad has pictures of it, but he didn't have it when I was around. But my dad at one point had a Oldsmobile 442.
I almost got arrested in that 61 Fairlane.
All right.
So my buddy and I were waiting for my other buddy and his girlfriend to show up, and we were in a parking lot, and we just started screwing around, shoving around, acting like I was kidnapping him. And then he got in the trunk, and the plan was we were just the trunk was still left unlatched, and then when my buddy pulled up, he was gonna pop open the trunk and scare the hell out of him, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, doing that across the street from a Pizza Hut on a busy street is not a good idea because they called the cops. I didn't know it, and called it a kidnapping. And I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear tires rolling up, and it's just past. It was almost dark. It was just the sun had just went down. I hear tires roll up on me, and I think it's Dave, my buddy. And I turn around, and it's two police cars, and they get out and they unsnap the thumbs on their holster, and put your hands where I can see them. Oh crap! Open the trunk, and oh my! I keep thinking the whole time, please God, I was hoping my buddy wouldn't pop up and be an idiot. We open the trunk, and so I open it slowly, and he just sits up and smiles and, hi, we were just playing a prank on our friend. Then we got about a 20-minute lecture about doing stupid stuff on a busy street. Stupid things you do when you're 17, right?
Well, this red interior just gave me flashbacks. We used to go camping.
That looks like it's been sitting in someone's barn for years.
I know, but that's basically what mine looked like. But we go camping, and these seats, since they were just straight across, they were pretty easy to sleep on.
No seatbelts, huh?
Yeah, and the thing about the Corvairs, it was really cool because your whole front end was a trunk.
Yeah,
you could put all kinds of stuff in there, and we just put all of our camping gear in there. And of course, if you survived, with the back end not swaying around in the rain, I did a 360 in mine one time when I pulled out a curve.
Yeah.
So.
Hey.
But yeah.
So yours looked like a barn find too when it was new?
Well, I bought it. I was 16. It was the same age I was when I bought it. It was 16 years old, just like I was.
So it was sitting in someone's barn for 16 years.
Well, I don't know. The guy met me at a parking lot, so it could have been.
It could have been, yeah.
Everything on my Fords was completely mechanical. They both had overdrive, but you had to push the clutch in, and there was a knob on the dash, and you had to pull it out. You pull out about 6 to 8 inches, and that would engage the overdrive.
Yeah.
See those that big fan right there? The Corvair was air cooled engine, and in the summertime it would overheat, and you would have to turn the heater on to make this fan go in high gear. So here you're going there. It's already 90-something degrees, and you're turning the heat on to cool the engine down.
Well, that's an old drag racer's trick, man. When you're overheating, you throw the heat on, even though it's 100 degrees outside.
It didn't have a radiator?
No, it's an air-cooled engine. People would take these, and they would make like gyrocopters out of them. As a matter of fact, the guy I sold it to said that's what he was going to do, and I said, I don't want to hear about it. Don't tell me this thing won't run. It won't stay running long enough. You'll die. You'll kill yourself.
You'll like fly like 1 foot off the ground, you know, like for about a minute, and then lands again, you know. Oh yeah.
Oh my. That's.
But these dashboards, you know, this was all steel. If you had a wreck, you'd kill yourself just hitting the dashboard.
Oh yeah, man, they had style though.
No, it was a great car.
I love those cars, man.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I cried when I wrecked it.
The Fairlane I had was white. It was white paint, and it had this kind of like a robin's egg blue interior.
Yeah.
And it would go in the mud too, as long as you could keep enough ground clearance, because it had a skid plate on the bottom of it, and you had the positive traction, and the motor was sitting over there. It would go pretty good in the mud. It was a little mudder, as long as you could maintain some ground clearance, you know.
So the other gun I'm looking at getting is, if I don't get the 22s, I'm considering getting an AK, another one. Why? Because I want more than one.
Okay, so I found all the parts to my AK. Who'd you say would put it together for me for a fee?
Do you have a receiver?
Yeah, I got everything. I found the receiver. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
When I was cleaning out the garage.
Well, I do know that Storm and Norman Gunworks over in California is doing them. Why
would I want somebody in California to do it?
He's doing
That's the best you can do.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else near you. That's the problem.
Storming Norman. Is he? I thought he passed away.
No, he's a different Storm and Norman. Okay.
Not the
general.
Storm and Norman Gunworks, not the general.
Okay.
Okay. I do a lot of IT work for him, and he started making AKs, and his AKs look awesome. So,
you have his email address?
Yeah, I got his email. I can give you his email address. You can ask him about it. You know,
send it to me sometime.
But he does, even if he's in California, he does good work. I mean, he's fixing my SKS for me right now. So
really cool.
Yeah, I'm getting that back soon. But he's the one I'm actually. It's like if I don't get an AK from PSA, I really want a GF3, PSA AK. If I don't get one, I'll probably see about getting an AK from him, because I kind of want one of his. Because he started doing his own custom receivers.
Cool.
So.
Custom receiver sounds expensive. Are you saying he's milling his own receivers, or he's breaking the metal for his own receivers, or what do you mean making his own receivers?
He's buying the receivers from another company that makes them, and he's getting custom logos on them.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. I thought you meant like
customized receivers.
Yeah.
Okay, so. But if you're anyone out there that's in California, if you need a good gunsmith, check him out. Check out his website. It's sng911.com.
SNG911. That ain't right. Oh, I put too many ones.
Only 2 ones.
911.
I built that website for him.
Was it WordPress?
Shh! Don't tell anyone.
Contact. Is that his Gmail right there?
Yes. Yeah, that's what he wanted there. It's the same one. The same one I'm gonna post in the side chat too. So
I found it.
You found it. You
Gallery.
It's some of the stuff he's done. So what's that? John Brown Productions is is jumping in late. We're almost ready to wrap this up and go home. Gun Library Garrett says electric.
What's electric?
I asked him in the chat if his 63 still had vacuum powered wipers like my 61 did.
Yeah,
64 had electric, but I forgot when they switched.
He said it's a Ford 500 two-door. It's smaller than the boat ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my 61. That was the only problem. If you're going uphill in the rain, the wipers used to stop because they were powered off engine vacuum. So when you're under power and taking a load going up a hill, they didn't have enough vacuum to keep the wipers going.
So, I've got a picture here somewhere of the AKs he's building. Oh, here's one right here. He's the California one, but he can make non-California ones for you. Here, I'll put that in the side chat for you, Tony.
Well, wait a minute. How can he make non-compliant AKs?
Because he's not building it to sell it in California.
Oh, okay. But I didn't realize they could do that.
They can. He's got an FFO, a Type 7. So he can build them from scratch.
Learn something new every day.
And build them from scratch. He can build all the stuff that you'd want to have in a free state. And he can send it to your FFL, and you can go down and pick it up.
Man, I am so glad I don't live in California or New York because I would hate to have those stocks they have to have.
Oh, yeah. And I posted a link to the side chat in the GunTube.
Yeah, I was just looking at the picture.
I mean, those receivers look really nice. Apparently, he struck a deal with Childers.
Ooh.
So he's getting Childers custom receivers.
How much are they?
I don't know. They're not the cheapest. I'll tell you that. But
I kind of like the steampunk look of my old plain looking receiver I've got.
Yeah.
Oh, my buddy's got one. He built it from 80%, and he didn't do anything to the finish. It just looks battle worn. It is just probably the most kick ass one I've ever seen.
I'll post the link out there on YouTube. I won't get in trouble for that, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, he makes those. He's a very.
I mean, I don't like that thumb hole thing, but that's
no, he can put a normal stock on it. See, if you send him the parts, he can build it for you and then send it to your FFL. Okay.
Right, I know how that works. Yeah.
Yep, but he just.
I know he can't mail it directly to me.
Right. Not unless you mail it to him for repairs.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not necessarily looking to buy more guns at this point, but there's a few I have that I would like to modify.
No, I'm considering throwing a curveball at him. Say, I know you're doing AKs now. What about AK-74s? And sending him like an AK-74 parts kit and a receiver.
Why would he care?
But,
no, I mean I'm serious. Why would he care?
I don't think he would. He's like, I can do 74s too.
Yeah,
I know he can. So
nice.
I mean, again, I posted a link on the YouTube side to his Instagram account, and he's got a couple videos of him shooting one of the AKs too. So check those out; those are pretty interesting. So he's got a couple people shooting them too. He likes he's good. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, there goes all your super chat for tonight.
Yep.
Put that link in there.
Well, it's just an Instagram link.
All that 30 cents you were going to get down the drain. Yeah.
Yeah. my 30 cents was never there in the first place. But anyways, again, before we close this up and wrap this up, has everyone gone and done the comments for the receiver redefinition and the comments on the new pistol brace circulation?
Yep.
If you haven't done so already, you need to go do that. I have no idea where those links are. I'm going to probably go steal it from one of Clover's videos. Because I know he had the links out there the other day.
You had them up. Didn't you have them up one night that you were doing?
I did, and I forgot where those links are. So.
Clover.
I mean.
Tactical leprechaun.
Yep. He is a leprechaun. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The FBC link is right here. Oh my god, that's too huge. I can't do that one. There we go.
Bitly it.
Bitly, yeah, there you go. No, it's just like YouTube adds their own link at the end of, custom links. So I'm like, what the hell? What the hell, man? What the hell? And there's the GOA link for the brace. I'll put those in the description of the video when we're done, but I just want everyone to know. So there's that. I'll just do it right now because screw it, do it live.
Sounds like a train passing by.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just my keyboard. I'm sorry, guys. It's just I'm doing what I can. Okay.
No worries.
Fight the damn cat. He thinks he wants to lay on the keyboard.
All right, I added those to the description of the video. So there we go. So with that, if anybody has any more questions or comments, they got a few minutes left. So get them out there if you got them. If you don't, well, then we will just wrap this up and get out of here. So in the meantime, Defense Dad, you jumped in late. How's it going?
Not too bad, man. My sister was here for a visit, and she took off, and then kiddo's mom picked her up. So then I had the rest of the evening to kind of relax and do what I want.
I see. All right, George.
Hi.
How are things in Brownsville?
Pretty good. Yep. It's freaking hot.
You're telling me, man.
Summer had just started, and it's getting hot.
I waited to do the lawn this evening, and I went out and mowed the lawn, and it was like, yeah, it's in the mid 80s, and I'm like, oh my god. And then it started getting cooler, but it's still a lot of humidity. And then, right as I was getting ready to stop mowing the lawn, it started to rain. So I'm like, okay, I'm done.
You don't have one of those little robotic mowers?
No, I've got a zero turn.
Yeah, it's been pushing 100 here all week, and today my daughter we took it. She wanted to go out and do outdoor photo shoots, so we were shooting the cameras most of the evening.
I bet you could get the electronics for your zero turn that are on one of those little robots, and you can set it up for it would do the same thing.
I don't want a robot. I don't want Skynet. Okay.
For your yard, they would be perfectly fine.
He doesn't want what they call it, that movie. Is it Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want that either.
Daniel says at Night Strike, which Gen PSA AK should be avoided? Honestly, the GF3s are the ones you'd want to buy. The GF3s, the 4s, and the 5s, they're all good. So Those are the ones you want. If you find any PSA AKs that aren't a GF3, they're something else, you don't want it. Some of the older ones you don't want. So
that is correct.
Because they had some quality control issues at the beginning. But with the GF3s, they pretty much got that knocked out. The GF4s and 5s, they're just additional the newer variations.
United Strike's really gonna go buy himself a PSA dagger.
There you go.
If they had one for sale, I might. If I could get one that was actually for sale, I would totally buy a PSA dagger.
That's about the only way I'd buy a 3rd gen Glock, because that's what the $300 is what they should cost.
That's just the only way I'd buy a Glock, or a copy of the Glock.
I love my Gen 3.
I know you love your Gen 3, but that's the only way I'd buy one is get a
I remember when the
PSA
Sigmas
dagger.
came out. When the Sigmas came out, the first gens, they almost looked like a Glock. Then they changed it.
Yeah, those 1st gen Sigmas, they had a lot of issues with them though.
Well, here's the thing. Tony has one. Not Artisan Tony, but the Tony that I do early watch reloaded with, and he's got a Sigma, and it still works fine. He never had any problems with it. So,
Wow, cool.
I would say it's probably the factor that some of them had bad quality control, and some of them were fine. Except, you only hear people whining and complaining about the ones that had quality control because I guess there were more of those.
Well, yeah. I had a buddy, and he's got a lot of guns, but he and his wife both they bought matching ones for handguns, and they were 1st gens, and they were just reliability was just poor on theirs. But I really wasn't knocking Glock. I just don't think you can still pay like $500-$600 for a Gen 3 Glock if you find one.
Right.
And I think they're overpriced for what they are, especially compared to what you can for what you can buy for that price range these days. So
yes, Daniel. There's a PSA dagger on Arms List here in South Carolina. But I'm not paying $600 for it. The dude wants $600 to $700 for it, and I'm like, no. For the gun that's being sold for $300, no, sorry, no.
I bought my Gen 3 from a police officer, and I don't know how many rounds it had through it. I know I put a bunch through it. It still runs great.
Well, they're good guns. I just for what you get, I think what the police officers like that blue label pricing, I think that's legit what they're worth. So,
I think in 2010 I paid $450. That's what I paid. Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go through the room and Patriot in the Dark. Patriot in the Dark, it just got here. Says, good evening, gentlemen, and Rob, if he's here. No, Rob isn't here. I think Rob left us a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away called New York. Daniel says the PSA dagger here, they're asking for $500 for it. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not worth that. But with that, on that note, we're getting ready to get out of here, so let's go through the room. Tony, you're up first. Any comments, any final words of wisdom or plugs you want to throw at us?
No, just keep on booking.
All right.
Whatever that means.
Okay. Defense Dad, final words of wisdom, any plugs?
No, just thanks for letting me join.
All right.
About it.
All right. George, any plugs, any final words of wisdom?
Well, one, thanks for the invite. It was good to be here. And you can check me out on Instagram under South Texas Air Guy. Check out the funny pics I put on there, whatever memes. And it's a great time being here.
All right. So with that, guys, the final words of wisdom here is check out GunTube.org. Check out store.guntube.org if you want to help keep things going. Check out GunTube on Patreon. check out me on Patreon, and other than that, shall not be infringed. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you later. Thank you all for jumping in and hanging out with us this evening. And those of you who are just getting here, watch the replay if you want. If you don't have to. No one's required to do anything. Just it's there. I'm just putting it out there for you. So on that note, how do I turn this damn thing off?
Give a hoot. Don't pollute.
Adios, Felicia. Te amo.
Felicia. Te amo.
Te amo.
Que le vaya bien, carnales.
Hashtag give them the bird.
Hashtag give them the bird.
I ain't got no tagline.
We'll see you on the range.
That's a calf rope. What was the other one?
Don't loiter.
No, I got one. I've got it.
No loitering.
I'll catch you on the next one.
There you go. That's a good one.
And